Are you a business owner struggling to get the kind of clients that you really want? Do you often have clients say to you that your price is too high? You break things to them and explain what you're offering, like your time, your expertise, your process, and they still don't get it? Many times it's not about the actual amount that you're quoting. It's not also because of the fact that they cannot afford it. They can. It's not also because the competition is too high or that the market is saturated. No, it's usually because of a small phrase I call perceived value. And it's one of the biggest reasons you're not attracting the kind of clients that you want. In this video series, we're going to break down what perceived value means, why it's absolutely crucial for your business, and 5 simple ways by which you can increase your perceived value and start attracting better clients for your business. So let's jump in. So what is perceived value then? A phrase has 2 words, perceived and then value. So first, let's look at what value actually is, and then we'll look at perception as well. So value represents the benefit that someone actually gets in exchange for their time, for their money, or their trust. Value represents the benefit that someone actually gets in exchange for their time, their money, or their trust. Okay, so let's think about it this way. If I made you an offer and I say, give me $1,000 and I will in turn give you $100, is this an offer that you like to take? Definitely not. Why? Because you're going to lose on that offer. Now, if I should say, give me $1,000 and I'm going to give you, say, $10,000 in return, is this an offer you would want to take then? Definitely yes. 10 times out of 10, you want to go for this transaction because you're always going to benefit more than what you put in. So usually, the sale or the transaction happens when people see that the benefit outweighs the cost. Always that is when the transaction happens. So in this example, the $9,000, which represents the difference, is value to you. So it doesn't even matter if you don't have $1,000 at the time. You're going to make sure you borrow so you could make this transaction, and then you pay off whoever it is and keep that $9,000, which represents value to you. So that's what value in simple terms is. So let's look at perceived or perception then. Perception is simply how something is seen or understood or interpreted. Perception is how something is seen, understood, or interpreted. It's not always accurate, but it is what people believe. So believe is a key term here. People don't buy based on logic. They buy based on belief. Now, the reason is, even though you're promising value within your service or your product, people don't experience that value until after they've purchased. So at a decision point, then what is more important is what they believe that your service can give them and not what it actually gives them. So let's put the 2 words together, perception or perceived and value. So perceived value then is the benefit that someone believes they are going to get in exchange for their time, their money, or their trust. That is what perceived value simply means. And is one of the biggest reasons why you're not able to attract the kind of premium clients that you're looking for. You need to increase your perceived value and things will start falling in place. So why do I say perceived value is super important to your business? Remember we said people don't always buy based on logic, they buy based on belief. So usually people either consciously or subconsciously ask themselves 3 questions whenever they are assessing an offer. These 3 questions is what always goes through the mind of your customer when assessing your offer. So the first one is, does this person really get my problem? Does this person really get my problem? That's the first question. Then, do I trust that they will deliver? Do I trust that they will deliver? And the third question is, would this be worth my time and my money? Would this be worth my time and my money? So when the answer to these questions is even slightly uncertain, usually people don't buy. Or if they'll buy, then they try to negotiate the price down. Okay, but if they believe that your offer can actually give them the results that you're promising, then very easily they purchase. So perceived value is so important. It gives positive signals to your prospective client. It makes them feel safer in the decision that they are going to take, the decision which is already uncertain. So increase your perceived value. Now we're going to talk about 5 simple ways by which you can increase your perceived value and thereby start attracting better clients. So we'll use a framework I call the value method, which is a framework that I designed to help business owners, entrepreneurs, top executives to increase their perceived value and thereby attract better clients. So the value method is more like an acronym. V stands for visual identity. Then the A stands for authority positioning. Then we have L, which stands for leverage social proof. We have the U, which stands for unique outcome clarity. And then finally, the E stands for exclusivity and scarcity. So in subsequent videos, we'll go deeper into what all of these 5 pillars mean and how they can help you. But just in summary, the V talks about visual identity, which means that your brand should look like what you're charging. So right from your logo to your proposals, your presentation, all your branding materials should actually look like an expensive or a premium brand. Then we have authority positioning. So the main thing there is how you are positioning yourself in the market. You should come across as the trusted advisor from all the experts and not just a vendor or another sales person. So there we talk about how you can prepare, package, and then publish your insights that you've gained through the experience that you've had. And that way you start to elevate how customers or clients start to think about your service or your product. Then we have L, which represents leverage social proof. So that one talks about letting other people speak for you. So you've definitely handled a few projects here and there. Once you're producing the results that you promised, then you can let the beneficiaries of your service speak for you. Let them talk about the experience. Let them talk about the challenges or the problems that they brought to you and how you were able to get them the transformation they are looking for. The next one is unique outcome clarity. So here we are simply saying you have to be absolutely clear on what you're offering. So think about the payoff, think about the results, think about the transformation that your prospective client is looking for, and then talk about that. So don't promise what you cannot actually achieve. Think about it, break it down, and get to what value that you're bringing to your people. And that way it becomes very easy for them to also know the kind of value that they gained from your service. And finally, we have exclusivity and scarcity. So here what we are saying is not everybody should have access to what you're offering. You need to be able to position your service or your product such that it gives off scarcity, it gives off exclusivity. Use things like application processes or deadlines or agency tactics and just so that the people who get to benefit from your service feel like it's exclusive to them. When that happens, the demand side of things start to feel special, and everybody wants to chase that limited supply that you have. Okay, so let's think about this example. You can buy a phone for, say, $200, or you can also purchase an iPhone for over $1,000. Now, both of these phones would make calls. You would be able to send WhatsApp messages, take pictures and videos with both phones. So what really is the difference here, warranting an over $800 price difference? Now, the reason is Apple has been able to increase the perceived value of the iPhone, so much so that people don't buy the iPhone anymore. They are buying what the phone represents, which is in some cases prestige, higher social class, and all of these things. So Apple is so good at creating this increased perceived value, so that the belief that people have around the iPhone is always a positive one. How do they do this? Through clean branding, through their limited releases, and so many things that increase the perceived value of the iPhone. So imagine applying the same level of intentionality to your business and increasing your perceived value, so much so that people associate only good and positive signals to your product, to your brand, and to your service. To wrap up, if you're looking to attract better clients, premium clients, then what you need to do is not to work harder or change your service or your product. It's rather to think about how you can increase your perceived value, so much so that they associate positive signals to your brand and they believe that the promise that your offer has will actually get them to the desired results that they are also looking for. So remember, we said customers don't always buy based on logic, they buy based on belief. All right. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and share with someone else. Also, stick around for the entire Perceived Value series. The value framework will help you, various methods or ways in how you can increase your perceived value for your business. See you.